Have you ever found your project veering off course? Whether you're a manager, a leader, or a department head, you probably run projects. And if they're veering off course, you've got a problem to solve. 35% of projects are considered successful. That means 65% aren't. How to stop the train from continuing to drive you over the cliff if your project's failing? Let's talk about that coming up next on Project Skills Mentor. Now, I've already done a video about what happens when your project slips, but this goes further. This is knowing when to actually stop the project and retool the way of working. Maybe you need to change how you're interacting with the stakeholders, or maybe the use case isn't clear. A never-ending cycle of change is not going to make your project successful. So what do you do? Well, let's break it down. But first, stop and answer this question. What would you do if your project's slipping? Do you already have a way of working? If so, leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If your project is off the tracks, if the train is going over the cliff, you need to slam on the brakes and make a change. Whether you're changing your way of working, the people, the goals, the roles, something. Something has to give, because continuing to do the work as you're doing it isn't going to work for you. Now, if that's the case with you, let's talk about what happens next. Step one, validate that you're actually off track. Sometimes we're so overwhelmed with how things feel, we lose the ability to cope with reality around us. So the first part of resetting or deciding if you're off track is validating what's really true. And the easiest way to do this is to look at your dashboard. And if you don't have one, I'll put a link here about how you can create a project dashboard that will tell you if you're off track. And here's my project reset checklist. Look at your key milestones. Are they slipping repeatedly? So if you set a new deadline on Monday for Friday and you miss it again and again and again, and pretty soon the slip is now a month, that's a sign you need to do a reset. Maybe your deliverables are being completed, but they're not adopted. The users aren't accepting your approach. You can go into that churn process of making continual revisions, but if the foundational understanding of your project is wrong, if the users aren't grasping what you're trying to do, or if it's not really fit for purpose, that wheel will go around forever. If the stakeholders are disengaged or new ones have come on board with new ideas, approaches, and goals, sometimes these are personal. People actually are worried about their next career move, their promotion or raise coming up at the end of the year. And that's driving a lot of the considerations they're giving to your project. If you don't know that, you may be making some of the biggest mistakes a project manager can make. Know your stakeholders. Understand what drives them, what metric they're using to decide if your project is working or not, and then work with them to make sure their expectations are set correctly and you're delivering what they ask for. And now let's turn to your team. If they're doing a lot of work but not moving forward, if they're getting demoralized by the entire process and feeling frustrated, or if they're talking about issues but not solving them or not able to solve them, then your project indeed may be off track. Here's a quick example. I worked on a big bang implementation. This is in the old ERP days where we would implement accounting, finance, HR, and customer service all at the same moment. It was really, really challenging, especially because the team working on finance had no time to work with us on the outcome. And because they didn't know what we were doing, they didn't understand our questions to them. And so we had to do a reset. We stopped the project just long enough to figure out who our key stakeholders were, re-engaged with them, and were able to move forward. Step two is identify the root causes. You may think you know the root causes, but in fact, you may not. And not understanding the root cause means you can't fix it. And remember, projects don't fail for one reason. It's normally a multitude of problems. The team lacks alignment, so the product isn't meeting the purpose, and therefore the users are disengaged. If you aren't understanding the daisy chain effect of all of the issues on your project, you may be, one, solving the wrong problem, or two, not looking for the underlying cause, and so creating new problems as you fix other ones. So my reset checklist here is about identifying the root of the problem. Is scope exceeding delivery capability? Are the requirements actually unclear? Or maybe stakeholders believe they know what the outcome should be, but they actually don't have the same view of that outcome. And the worst case scenario is when they don't know it. When sponsorship is weak, politics is real at work. And if your sponsors are being pushed and shoved in different ways inside the politics of the organization, you may think you have strong leadership and strong backing, but you don't. The first sign of trouble, your sponsors might go running, and if that happens, you could lose the ability to reset your project. Sometimes the technology just hasn't caught up with the ambitions and goals of the organization. And if that's the case, it may be that the technology is out there, but you have to make a technology infrastructure that makes sense for your organization. And that may be harder to do than people think. And you might have to stop that project until your technology stack does catch up. And one that I faced in the past is when delivery processes are unstable. I had a situation where I was working with a client where we had consulting people working with the client team. We were one combined team, but their way of working wasn't our way of working. So our stage gates, our approval processes, etc., were different. What did that mean? It meant we thought we had a green light, they thought they had a red light, we were going back and forth. This is a tango you don't want to do. So make sure your processes fit not only the team, but also fit the kind of work you're doing. And I can tell you, sorting out a problem like that is a lot better than playing the blame game. So don't go down the funnel of whose problem is it. It's all of your problem. You all need to solve it. Step 3, make sure you know what that execution plan is. Reset the foundation of the project to prevent further problems. Make sure you're looking to see if there's any unintended outcomes. So for instance, let's say you need to delay the project by 3 months to reset the technology. Well, you need to not only let the technology team know that, but your stakeholders and others, so that they're not making the mistake of thinking this only impacts technology. It has no other impact to the project. That would be a mistake. So make sure you're communicating clearly, understanding who the timeline affects, and the knock-on effect of what do you do with the people who are on that hold project? You need to know that too. So make sure you've thought through everything before you start communicating. One time, we should have stopped the project, and we didn't. And that led to both contractual issues and a dip in the morale of the team. And let's face it, it's hard to restart a project if your team is demoralized. And step 4, take action. Planning isn't the same as doing. Now you're in the doing phase. So you're going to want to confirm your plan, revalidate the business case if you need to, align with the sponsor's expectations, and make sure they're on board before you announce it to others. Clarify the user need and their use cases, and reset the scope and priorities and maybe the budget. And if you can't change the budget, you're certainly going to need to replan the rest of the work, the scope and the timing. And fundamentally to all of this is communication. Communication downward to your team, upward to your management, across to your peers and other departments, and most of all to your end users, so they can stay engaged, aligned, and understand why the reset was necessary. Hopefully see it as a good sign that you're listening and you're not going to continue doing something the wrong way. And if you have a business case, one more step you might want to do is reconnect it to the business case. In other words, especially if your company expects you to test against the business case. So it might be a good thing to actually make a version 2 of the business case and restate the changes you're making to the project, why you're making those changes, and the impact they have on staffing, time, cost, scope, and quality. And then reestablish your alignment and keep it that way. Have regular check-ins with your sponsors, your users, your team, and your peers. Why? Because you've gotten off track. You've now gotten back on track, and you need to stay there. How do you stay there? You keep your eye on the prize, and you keep your eye on all the people invested in that outcome. And now that you've learned your lesson about a stalled or a stopped project, you need to put in the early warning sign. So put in your early warning dashboard, your early warning staff meetings, and your early warning stakeholder meetings to make sure this does not happen again. And if you think maybe you don't need to reset, but maybe your project's slipping, check out this video. And I'll see you next time on ProjectSkillsMentor.com. Bye-bye, everybody.